wonder if that guy knows his train makes stops in hell. So I guess we're alive again. Let's go talk to Jimmy.
My God, Jackie, where the fuck you been hiding? First Jenny gets murdered, your ass goes up in smoke. Everyone figured Paulie blew you the fuck away.
He did, Jimmy. I just came back is all.
You know, your Aunt Sarah, that poor woman would just sit there in her Raspberry Street apartment and wait just for you. Yeah, just for you to show up. If you ever do one thing right in this whole mess, in this whole life of yours, you go down to the Lower East Side and you see her. You hear me? You go down to Raspberry Street and you go see your Aunt Sarah.
Oh, we come back from the dead and immediately get guilt-tripped. Well, at least we know the one and only thing we need to worry about right now.
Hey, Jackie, you heard the police got PD pajamas, don't you?
Whatever happened to Aunt Sarah? Did you just forget about her, buddy? Okay, fine, tell me more.
Now, what about him?
What happened is, the cops brought him in, they took him down in the basement to do a kind of impromptu Q&A with him, you know what I'm saying? Playing 20 questions. The problem with Pete is this, he's weak. He's real weak. You give him some fucking Indian burns and he'll squeal like a stuffed pig. But Pete, he knows stuff. Jackie, we need to shut that little piece of shit up, you know what I'm saying? Well, he's bound to tell those cops he's gonna leak down to Paulie, and if that happens, whoa, that's bad for all of us.
All right. Where are they keeping him?
Yeah, but that's the problem. We don't know where the fuck he is. We got a door number and that's it. You gotta keep your eye open for door 261, you hear me?
Okay, so I guess we'll deprioritize that chore for right now and go see Aunt Sarah.
Jackie.
Oh, and there's some ghosts in our way. This trip to visit family is fucking haunted. Let's just get on with it before anything else can go wrong.
My Aunt Sarah. Now, she taught me about life. After I left the orphanage, she was the one person who cared for me. And she loved you. Now, when her husband, Jimmy Franchetti, died, the family forgot about her. Except for the older guys. And me.
Sounds like we're in for a nice visit to a sweet old lady. Quite a far cry from the last time we were in the Lower East Side, and got chased through the streets by a helicopter that was firing upon us. But while we're here, we should take care of something that followed us from hell. It's the letters that we collected while we were there. We'll get a chance to make use of them, quite different from the phone numbers we've collected. That's not the only letter we got. Last time we spoke to Anthony Estacado, he very subtly slipped us a letter. It reads, "Jackie, I'm giving you this letter hoping that the darkness won't see it. You can defeat the darkness, Jackie, but you have to do it in this world. The only way into this world is suicide on holy ground. Do what you must, Anthony." So even though it seemed very much like we only went to the hell area because we had died, turns out it was because of how and where we died. Also, I sincerely hope that none of these 100-year-old letters that we're about to mail feature people urging their loved ones to kill themselves like ours did. No, for us it's just a glut of unlockable content. But seriously, the plot point where suicide is literally the answer to our problems, it replaces the reviled celibacy plot point from the comic books, and is at the very least equally repulsive. I absolutely despise it. But we deal with what we get. And that's our last pit stop before we go visit Aunt Sarah. Her place is right over there. Can even see her in the window.
Jack! Oh, I've been so worried about you. I heard you were gone and I feared the worst. You look thin. Have you been eating? You come on inside. Come on. You want some minestrone?
An Italian person would have pronounced it minestrone. But that's fine. We're here to have a pleasant chat, not disprove her heritage.
I know what's happened, Jackie. And you know how much I've always loved you. You know how I hate it when our family turns against each other like this.
Aunt Sarah, I lost her. And what the hell am I gonna do without Jenny?
It's terrible. I cleaned out her apartment. She was waiting for you, Jackie. Anyone but you could see it. Oh, you should have taken her away from this place when you had the chance. And now you've got to take care of it.
I'm really sorry for the way things came out, Aunt Sarah. Now, you know that I never meant any disrespect to you and the family. But I'm gonna have to take a stand against Paulie and Eddie Schroet and punish them for what they did.
I know. And some of the older men, they'll support your decision, Jackie. But you're gonna have to earn their trust. If you were to hurt Paulie's operation, they might consider joining you. They want things back the way they used to be.
I'm gonna tear his face off, Aunt Sarah. Pardon my language, but I'm gonna rip that dirty little motherfucker's face off and feed his lips to the fucking rats! But I can't kill that little fucking scumbag without your blessing. You know that.
Well, kill is such a dirty word. But do what you have to do. And understand that you won't get to Paulie unless you go through his police dog first. The only way to Paulie is through Captain Eddie Schroet. Now, I happen to know he has an apartment up by Gun Hill, and I spoke to Jimmy the Grape, and he's arranged for a man named Abe Hunter to let you into the building. I suggest you go there and take up Jimmy's offer of help while you can.
Well, sabotaging their operations only got Jackie killed, so the plan now is just murder. And Jackie's good at that. But before we get to that, we of course need to grab a collectible. And this black and white picture over here reminded me that we haven't talked about the television yet. There's a whole ton of televisions in this game. We can turn them on and watch public domain cartoons. Or a full episode of Flash Gordon. Or, God forbid, the Music Channel. There's two of them. There's this Swedish pop channel and the death metal channel we saw earlier. In case you happen to be the lead singer of Detroit Metal City, it's got you covered on both sides. Now, between these two channels, there are 28 music videos for licensed tracks that were contemporary at the time of the game's release, but so obscure that I'd never heard of any of them besides Marilyn Manson and Tomahawk, which is one of Mike Patton's bands. Of course, you gotta sit there for like half an hour to watch any of them. Over on this channel is a feature-length film called The Man with the Golden Arm, starring Frank Sinatra. From the 50s, about him being a heroin addict, very controversial at the time. Next channel over is a full-length kung fu movie called The Street Fighter, starring Sonny Chiba.
From Okinawa.
All this in addition to Kill a Mockingbird, which we could have watched back in Jenny's apartment.
Hi, Archie.
Could just be entertained for hours with content that the developers spent practically nothing on. Except maybe those licensed videos. Some of them must have been worth a couple of bucks at least. But instead of all that garbage, we are going to play a video game.
It's like I have everything to live for, and nothing to gain. I got nothing worth having without you. But at least I got a purpose. And that's tearing Eddie Schroet into 1,000 pieces. It's my reason to live.
Like most people in a New York City subway system, we are spurred on by murderous rage. We're just gonna head down to the tracks and hit the other station, where we've been given a hot tip on how to get to Edward Schroet's apartment. And along the way, we'll deal with that weird detour that Jamie the Grape sent us on.
Anyone who says the subway is dangerous never sat in the back of a yellow cab, going the wrong way, at 90 miles an hour, through the Midtown Tunnel, with a guy who can't speak a lick of English, my buddy, Crazy Abdul.
Ah, Crazy Abdul. I almost feel like that's a reference to Abdul Al-Hazred, the author of the Necronomicon in Lovecraftian lore, because of all the tentacles and shit in this game. Pure conjecture, though. Crazy Abdul does make a very bizarre cameo in The Darkness 2, in the form of a DLC costume for the Darkling. Even if we make it to LPing that game, though, I doubt we'll be able to see it. I'm pretty sure it's been delisted from all the stores. Yep, Jackie's getting himself into murder mode as we enter Grinder's Lane. Because you may recall the last time we were here, we happened upon the Grinder's Lane luxury apartments, wherein nothing occurred. But if you paid attention to the numbers on the door, one of them was 261. Looks like that's where our snitch is being kept. So we gotta spill some blood before he spills the beans. Jackie took one shot and is already on the verge of death. Such is the difference between having your shield up and not. Well, we did just hit darkness level 4, so the difference will be all the more pronounced now.
415B!
Ah, PD pajamas, I presume. Excellent opportunity to show off the Cowering in Fear special execution, which we don't get to see too often because mobsters don't do that. Got the witness protection list. Make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, but the main reason we came here was this. New Darkling outfit. And this portal gives us a chance to check it out. Look at him there. Ready to save some lives. Oh. You're the worst fireman ever, Darkling. Can't say I'm too surprised. But we're not quite done with Grinder's Lane. Way back here, the fence that we just walked past was closed last time we were here, and we did not have the demon arm. Now everybody wins. We get another collectible, and the Darkling kills another person. Good luck trying to figure out what any of that crazy scrawl meant. That's certainly not our concern now, though. We can get back on track. Subway track?
This place reminds me of this guy I know. Joey Polanco. He had this bad habit of killing the wrong people all the time. Dumbest fucking hitman in history. Uncle Paulie threw him under the train down there.
I would say that it's a good thing we are a better hitman than that, but it's not. Paulie's gonna kill us anyway. Unless we kill him first. Oh, the breakdancers still here.
Nothing else will get you to the top.
Oh, we were a little stingy last time because they weren't doing anything.
Alright, check this, B.
Bring it, Bliss.
If you do pay them, though, they actually do some stuff. Pretty good stuff, in fact.
Watch this right here.
Yeah, she's good at least. Maybe someday we'll get to see what he does.
It's all about the moves.
There's a shitload more animations there. We'll check out a few more eventually. Maybe. If we have time. For now, here's the Gun Hill service entrance that Sarah told us about. Pretty inconvenient to get to this apartment complex, I gotta say.
All this useless flesh.
Even a guy like Eddie Schroed has a good side and a bad side. Now, he's killed and tortured a few people, but then again, you should see his bad side. Now, I try not to judge, but for what he did to you, both sides are as good as dead.
We're closing in on the face of police corruption. This dingy alleyway. On top of this structure here... well, it's a collectible, of course. But it's the nicest collectible we've gotten so far. Make sure our heads are charged up in case we need them. But otherwise, no need to threaten the populace. Then we're no better than Edward Schroet. Here's the back entrance to his building. And our informant.
Well, you took your sweet time, didn't you? I'm Abe Hunter. I don't know where the fuck you been. What? You hit traffic or something? All right. Schroet's up in his place. It's been there about an hour, maybe. 5 will get you 10. He won't be expecting no company. Only about 5 people even know he lives.
Thanks for the info. Now, how do I get in?
Listen, ride up in the elevator and go straight in. Follow the stink. You can't fucking miss it. All right, here you go, pal. Okay, so you got the key to Schroet's apartment. The elevator's over there. You do know how to work an elevator, right? pushing the buttons often has the desired effect, dipshit.
Using sarcasm on a trained murderer is rarely a good idea, dipshit. But you survived this encounter.
Nice talking.
And we get more sarcasm if we let him live. There is no downside to murdering him, though.
La 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 la. Figaro, 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 la 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 la. Figaro. I see you.
We're gonna put an end to that opera for good. But he's surprisingly prepared, so we gotta give chase. And get some collectibles along the way.
Estacado!
Got him once.
You weren't such a dumb shit. Jenny might still be alive. Oh, NYPD is behind me, Estacado. Here comes my boy, Jackie. Who's got your back?
Covering your 6, Captain.
Well, we can't follow him out the door. Jackie won't squeeze out of this window.
Locked, loaded, ready to go, Captain.
The helicopter blew a hole in the wall. Surely we can squeeze out through there. No, Jackie still doesn't fit. And if you're not careful, you just fucking die. So let's try that again. What you do want to do
Covering your 6, Captain.
is harass the helicopter with gunfire. I was doing that much right. Lure it into firing its guns at you.
Loaded, ready to go, Captain.
If you just hide around the corner, it will never fire on you. So you'll just be waiting for nothing. Obviously, you want your darkness shield up or you'll just die instantly. Once it fires 3 times, it'll switch up its pattern though.
I'm gonna redecorate these walls with your brain.
Yeah, just blast rockets at your boss's apartment right in the middle of the city, you fucking psycho. And even the voice in our head has to be an asshole. Because everyone has to be an asshole to make Jackie look the least bit heroic.
Yeah, that's it. Bring it on.
Schroet sure is unexpectedly spry, leading us on quite a chase. But whatever, it's a good set piece. Guess his apartment was conveniently close to the police department. He's ducked inside for safety, but Jackie has no qualms about murdering police officers, so the show goes on. I switch to our SMGs, which we very rarely use. We'll be in very close quarters, and even still, the things are ridiculously goddamn useless. But it's very fun to just fire a wall of bullets at everybody. And when it does actually kill someone, it sends them flying across the room. They're basically like the Cyclone from Perfect Dark, if you remember that game. That also had Dark in the title.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I dare say we have failed in our mission, and our target has gotten away. That was a whole lot of sound and fury signifying nothing. So let's get back to the subway and regroup.